Now, if you've been struggling to shift your weight in the downswing, resulting in fats, thins or top shots, I'm going to fix that for you straight away and getting you to always shift that weight, because there's stuff you need to do at setup, backswing and what to feel in the downswing that no one talks about to get you to shift the weight for pure ball and turf contact every single time. So let's get straight into it. Setup. What do you need to do in your setup? So I want to see golfers setting up like this. So it might not look that crazy or anything at all, but what I'm doing is I am bumping my hips very slightly to the left. So my belt buckle, I am just getting it slightly forward of the center of my stance. Now what that's going to do, that's going to greatly increase the chance of me shifting to the left, because as I turn, as I've got this pelvis with this belt buckle slightly forward, it's going to keep the center of my pelvis, which is my belt buckle region, either center of the stance or even slightly moving in front as we get up to the top. Something we see with all the best players in the world. As they turn up to the top, their pelvis actually starts to slightly move forward. A lot of that is because of the setup. So if we're getting ourselves in this good setup position, pelvis slightly forward, just feel like belt buckle slightly towards that left leg, that is going to make you hit ball and turf way easier, because shifting is going to be way easier. Where I see so many amateur golfers set up with either this motion, slightly bump to the right, very, very common. And then we see as they turn up, upper body moves forward, have that nasty reverse pivot, and then they move back away from it. Or they're just very stacked, and it just makes it hard for them to get everything shifting over. So pelvis slightly forward, just very slightly, and that's going to make it so much easier to be able to shift. Now, secondly, super important to be able to shift all the time in the downswing, and that's how you turn in the backswing. So I want a centered, loaded turn. No one tells you how to do this, or if they do, they don't dive deep enough in a simple way how to do it properly. So centered, loaded turn. So in the simple sense, when I'm turning up to the top, I'm staying centered. So if, let's say, the ball's in the middle of the stance, an easy way to view this, I'm staying on top of the ball as I'm turning. Or if I'm turning here and I've got a line going straight through my body, I want to keep that line still through the middle of my body up to the top. I don't want to move over this way. So that's going to make it, while on that term, you can imagine if I'm swinging nice and centered, it's going to be so easy for me to be able to shift. Again, with that red line, I don't have to move that much to be able to shift to the left to get my low point forward, which is why we want to do it. So turning nice and centered, but turning centered and loaded. So what do we mean by that? You hear a lot of people talking about loading into the trail hip, into your right hip, loading in the backswing, and they'll leave it as that without really any big explanation. So the thing that no one says, when you are loading, what you're doing, you are ultimately getting into your right hip. So if I have a ball here in my right hip there, I'm loading into that hip. You can see it. If I now take my hand away, see how the ball wants to stay in this crevice. So I'm creating a crevice there, loading into that right hip. I'm actually turning into my femur. Now what that does, that gets the weight staying on the inside of my right foot. So centered and loaded. But also what that does, that gives me a little bit of a springboard to naturally push off onto the left. So that's why I'm not physically trying to push off, but if I load into the hip, turning into my hip capsule, then I'm going to be keeping that weight on the inside of my right foot, which is then a much better place to be able to subconsciously move off. You'll see the body start to spring a lot easier to the left. So if you stay centered, that creates less motion you have to do to get onto the left side to shift enough. But then if you stay loaded, it subconsciously creates a reaction for you to have a springboard to be able to move, because you're loading into that right foot, into that hip. And it just makes it so much easier to be able to move. So I've got two great drills to do at this video, but they're not about loading. This is the info part. But you can grab something just like a little wedge here. And if you have a little wedge, like a strike wedge, for example, or a yoga wedge, something that's got a little bit of height at it, stand on it there, just to where it's just on the outside of the right foot, and just make some back swings where you're staying nicely centered, but as you're doing it, you're turning into that right hip. So that's where you hear me talk about a lot on this channel of getting this right hip to move back. A lot of people do that without loading into the hip. They're creating no crevice, they're creating no tension. So you are still getting that weight going onto the inside of that right foot, loading up. So it can even be in the right heel if you really want to keep that pressure back. But you can see that I'm still moving that hip back, which is great for guys who also stand up and come out of posture to keep that hip back. So that's where, if you guys really want to feel the sensation, get something like a strike wedge, a yoga wedge underneath your foot, turn nice and center, which I've got a great drill for in a minute as well. Just makes it so much easier to be able to shift, gives you the springboard to be able to do so. So this is where pretty much all of you, if you applied the setup and backswing fundamentals here to always shift, you'll all pretty much be doing it already. That's almost all of you. We could end the video right there and get straight into the drills, but some feels for the downswing. So that's where I want to reframe this a little bit. Other than shifting, drifting is what we want. We're drifting with our body, because a lot of people will be getting up to the top in a great spot, and then they will just be bumping the hips to the left, upper body as a result will start to tilt back. Then their low point is still in a lot of bother. They're still going to hit some poor shots like they haven't shifted at all. So feel like that body is drifting. So we want our lower body to drift to the left. We want our upper body to drift to the left. Because we have a little bit of side bend in the downswing, don't have to have a lot of it like Ryan Fox, but we will have it. It will keep our head still on center. But feeling like we drift across, like the middle of our belt buckle is going on top or outside the back of our left foot. So really moving across there, but feeling that upper body follow along with it. We're not just sliding the pelvis. Drift that upper body to the left, even to the point where you feel like you're gonna do a Gary Player and fall towards a target or keep walking. One of the things that I always remember, and this is from my very first golf lesson I ever had when I was 10 years old, we talked about weight shift. And he always said, that instructor, if you're going to fall and lose your balance anywhere, lose it towards the target. Because what does that tell us? That tells us that we are shifting enough to where we are losing and falling forward. Our weight is continually going there because we're drifting to the left. So again, drift your body to the left. And you're going to see, you're going to always get that weight shifting every single time. Free swing analysis is back for my online coaching on Skillist. So if you want to know exactly what is going on with your golf swing, whether it's what is the root cause that is causing your faults, or just what is holding you back, send in your swings to my free analysis, just like you're seeing here, and I will do a full in-depth analysis showing you exactly what you need to do to be able to fix your golf swing and the plan we would make to get there. And then if you do want to dive into those drills and the plan to put ahead to improve the faults we identified, you can do that all via a full lesson after the free analysis. But here's the great thing: for a limited time, I'm going to give every single free analysis student a code to use for a nice discount on any lesson option you choose. Okay, so let's get straight into our drills here. So 2 drills to do, one that you would very much recognize, and some of you, if you've been watching the channel for quite a number of years, you'll recognize this one as well. So the centered turn in the backswing and loading properly is by far the most important part of this video today. So important. Golfers who don't always shift, they move too much over and don't load correctly. So what we're going to do here, we're going to grab this, the swing plate. It could just be a long alignment stick in general. There is a link for this in the description. It's right at the bottom of the video description for a good discount on the swing plate. So if we have it with an extension pole, we can have this just outside the right side of our head. Now, for me, I have very much struggled to shift my weight in the downswing, me with cerebral palsy, which affects my left side mostly. It's really hard, as you can imagine, to get onto that left side consistently. This was what really helped me a ton, among a couple other drills as well that I've talked about a lot in the past. But you can see if I've got a long stick, just a couple fingers outside the right side of my head, if I move too much over, immediately I'm going to hit this. So that's where I want you to turn, still get that good loaded turn, but make sure you're not hitting this. So that's one part. If you feel like you just need to nail the centered turn, just hit as many balls as you can with this, and you are going to shift every single time. You're going to always do it. So really important. But if you feel like you need that extra little help to load as well, again, you can grab something like a strike wedge or like a cheap yoga wedge, anything like that would be very good. Place it just on the outside of your right foot, so the inside of it is touching the ground. be standing in the same place just outside your head there. Just got to set this in the right spot. There we go, that's a better spot. There we go. And feel like we're turning up and we're turning into that right hip capsule. Again, it's like we've got a ball. If I can grab that, a ball in our hip crevice, and we are squeezing that ball. It's like we've got a lemon or an orange and we're squeezing the juice. Be a lot easier to do and feel with this here. A lot of you, if you just practice with this little station, you're all going to be striking the ball so much better and so much more consistently. Let's do another one. That was a really good strike. That was the best one. The good thing I really like about this and setting up in this type of fashion as practice in general carries over to the golf course very well, because you can imagine this by the side of your head and you can still feel that underneath your foot. Really good. Put in as many reps as you can with that, but there is one more drill that is very, very good. So the second drill, awesome. Ball forward drill, absolutely. It can't be a video about weight shift without talking about this drill. So that's the ball being at the front of the stance, club out to the middle. This is going to teach you pretty much everything we've talked about here. So again, make sure all those hips are in a good spot. Good. And then we're turning up to the top, making sure that we're staying centered. The good thing about this, with the ball at the front, club out the middle, you instinctively in your subconscious going to stay more centered, because the brain tries to figure out what it has to do to hit this ball in that really forward position with that gap. And that is, it needs to stay centered because it gives you a better chance, an easier chance to shift. So really good one, and it will drift you rather than shift. You can't just go with the pelvis because you're not going to hit that ball solidly. Ball at the front, club out the middle, everything's got to drift to the left. Awesome. I really like this drill. Gets me really feeling like I'm activating my left side more, getting onto it. But it's just such a super simple one as well. So you can imagine if you do a bunch of this, let's hit another one. Again, all of those, very good strikes. And then place that ball out the middle and feel the exact same thing. Imagine that ball's still there. Again, one that carries over very well onto the golf course straight away. Every one of those, super pure. So if you've been really struggling with your striking, haven't been quite ball and turfing it all the time, it's because you're not shifting properly. And this is how you always shift your weight. It's about setup, backswing, and a little feel for the downswing. But if you get a setup and backswing, you'll be there. But if you need any other help, there's a link down there in the description for online lessons on Skillest. We can work one-on-one anywhere in the world, and we can fix whatever issue you're facing. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button for more golf instruction, just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too, to be notified every time I put out a video.